What happens when you take the power of a Hellcat motor and put it into a Durango SUV? Yes, you get a Durango SRT Hellcat with 710 horsepower, but is this the fastest SUV made? Well, we're gonna find out. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lauren Fix. This is the 2021 Dodge Durango SRT Hellcat. It has 710 horsepower. It's an all-wheel drive 3-row SUV. Now the people at SRT are coming with other products. We will be showcasing the Challenger as well as the Charger in other reviews. But if this is your first time to the channel, we do more than really awesome car reviews. We give you first looks of new vehicles and we give you information so you can have car smarts. Now we're going to go through 10 different areas of this Dodge Durango Hellcat. I'm really excited if you can't tell. We're going to cover performance and handling. We'll talk about safety. We'll go inside. We'll talk about visibility and seating, technology, features. We'll talk about the design of this SRT and why it's different and what it looks like. Then we'll talk about the quality. We'll go in the back. We'll talk about storage and how it compares to the competition. We'll look at price. We'll talk about the competitors. And in the end, we'll give you a Car Coach Reports total so you can get some information. There's some interesting competitors in this class and not too many domestics. Actually, they have their own competitor, which is the Trackhawk. That's a 2-row of this vehicle, pretty close. So we're going to look at all the different areas. We're going to give you some information because the sales guy can't wait for you to come in and sell you this vehicle, most likely at sticker price, which we don't want you to do. So make sure to subscribe and click that little bell so you don't miss anything, because we're going to talk about ways to get discounts on this vehicle as well. Let's look under the hood. Under the hood is a 6.2-liter supercharged Hemi V8 engine putting out 710 horsepower, 645 pound-feet of torque, backed by a 6-speed automatic transmission. And this sucker really flies, and we're going to show you that, so you want to stay with us when we take it out on the roads and we do some launches. This vehicle is awesome. We're going to head out to our local speedway, Lancaster Speedway. I don't know if they're open. It might be too early in the year, unfortunately, but that doesn't mean we can't use the access road heading to it. 0 to 63.5 seconds. Let's start it in the sport mode. Yeah! You can get in trouble with this vehicle. That was awesome. This could be very much fun to drive on a daily basis. I love it. I love it. And that's only in the sport mode. And you can adjust all that by hitting that SRT button. It takes you right to the sport mode and all of the goodies are there. So you can drive it in automatic. You can drive it in snow mode if there's snow. There's a tow mode, there's a custom mode, and there's a valet mode so that you do not have a Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which you probably would have with this vehicle. Per the National Hot Rod Association, they're saying 11.5 quarter mile at 180 miles an hour. I used to drag race. I'm hoping the track might be open. We can do a few runs. If not, we'll find some place to see what she actually does with the launch control. But this vehicle overall is a daily driver. I've been driving it for about a week. If you put it into the automatic mode, and I'll just press that mode now, it just makes it tamer, shall we say. Puts a little leash on our little Hellcat friend. You know, we don't want an eco mode for this, so we obviously want like an automatic, something that's easy to drive, that's enjoyable. You can put it in sport mode, get a more spirited ride. You want to keep that track for the track. Trailer towing capacity is 8,700 pounds. That is a lot, and is obviously top of the class because the other vehicles such as the Velar and the Mercedes and the Audi are not designed to be doing that. Sure, you can tow something, but this is a beast and you're using all that power. Now, fuel economy is 12 miles to the gallon in the city, 17 on the highway, and you better know where all your fuel stops are. That's why there's apps like GasBuddy.com, but you know what? I don't care what the fuel economy is. Driving this vehicle is a freaking blast. One thing you will hear with this vehicle is the iconic exhaust note. It is Hemi, it is Hellcat, and it sounds awesome. You don't need that Herman Kard audio. It's the exhaust pipe as far as I'm concerned. There are cold air scoops in front. That is for the 92mm throttle body. I'll discuss that in design as well. Of course, the superchargers need air as well. They need to run cool. These vehicles love to run cool. SRT has also provided the largest X pipe available. Impressive, and that's what gives it that amazing tone, that great exhaust note. Listen to this. That's only in the sport mode. I'm not even racing it. Let's put it in the automatic mode. Let's hear what happens when you put your foot in it. Ready? Still sounds nice. Really, like, giving you that muscle car feeling, but driving an SUV with 3 rows and kids and cargo getting you to your destination. This could be a lot of fun. This could get you in a lot of trouble. When you go into the custom mode, it gives you some options. You can adjust the transmission, the paddle shifters, the all-wheel drive, the stability control, the suspension, and the steering, so you can set it up the way you want. When you go into the automatic mode, again, this is set up all for street, but the steering is for sport, which gives it a tighter turning input, and I kind of like it that way. Going into sport mode, everything goes into sport, and the paddle shifters are now on. You can shut them off. I don't know why, I'm not really going to use them. Maybe at the track, you'll need that for the launch control, but this could be fun. Going over to the sport setup, there is a button on the left of the Uconnect screen under the SRT pages. There's a lot of layers here, and you can turn on each of the modes as if they're buttons. Really easy to use. This Uconnect system is very intuitive. It will not be intimidating at all, and it's super fun to play around. When you're in eco mode and you put your foot in it, it still has unbelievable passing power because you got a serious V8 engine with a lot of horsies. Let's get out of that eco mode and move back to the sport mode because that's where I like it on a daily drive. Really nice ride too. We'll talk about that in handling, and we'll talk about the brakes because there's a lot of go power, and that means you need a lot of whoa power. And we'll talk about that. You'll see that at the track. So we've got the launch control on. We have it in track mode. Are you ready? 0 to 60, 3.5 seconds. Quarter mile, 11.8. That's an NHRA rated vehicle at 180 miles an hour. And we have a long road, and there's no one else out here. It's just us off-road. Here we go. Wow, that is awesome. Woo! You could get in a lot of trouble doing this. I might. You never know if they call the police. I miss drag racing. I didn't realize how much until now. I did it until I had kids and then sort of put the kibosh on racing. When it comes to performance, this beast gets a 9, and it's a lot of fun. Why didn't it get a 10? It's a lot of raw horsepower, and it just needs a touch more refinement. This vehicle is riding on 20-inch wheels, and these are all seasons. In this case, we're riding on Pirelli tires. There's better braking on the Durango Hellcat. It's got 6-piston Brembos, big, beefy, whoa power, which is needed because you've got a lot of mass. This vehicle weighs about 5,700 pounds, way more than a lot of the competition, but they're not that far behind. These German vehicles with all this hybrid technology and all this heavy duty all-wheel drive systems, they get very heavy, and so you're looking at about horsepower to weight ratio. This has got some pretty good numbers. The Durango is more stable this year than it has been in past model years, but what you're also gaining when you drive it on the road is it's more responsive. There's less understeer. Again, great brakes. You can adjust the steering how you want. There's a lot of adjustability to this vehicle that you don't typically get. One thing that's important to look at when you're buying a large SUV, or any SUV for that matter, is turning radius. There's nothing worse than having a vehicle that's very difficult to turn around. So we're gonna do this in this big cul-de-sac. Look at that turning, wow. That is a tight turning radius. And that is a huge factor when buying an SUV because you've got to be able to get it into parking spots, garages, and whatever it is you need to do. Handling overall for this vehicle on a daily drive, driving this vehicle every single day, it earns an 8. When you're looking at safety, there's a lot of standard safety features in this SRT Hellcat. Now, there is an additional option. It's $500 for cross traffic alert and blind spot detection. I believe that should be standard, and I'm going to have to ding them a little bit for that. But one of the things I noticed is that you can go in here and change what you want. Do you want the emergency braking on? You want the warning only? Do you want it to interfere? How close? For the lane sensing, you have the early, medium, or late, and it does give you some notification also on the screen in front of you. Park Assist has sound only or sound and display. That is the front park sense volume, saying there's something nearby. I'm gonna put that to low because it drives me crazy. This is the rear braking assist. You can turn that on or off. There's just a little dot right there. That's your blind spot alert. I think that's really important. The lights, or you can do the lights and the chime, which is probably a good idea because your blind spot is where a lot of accidents happen. There's also hill start assist. On the right side of the steering wheel, when you turn on your cruise control, it's active cruise control. You can adjust the distance between you and the vehicle next to you. This is important to adjust what's necessary so that you don't have it intervene too aggressively, and it can. That's part of that emergency braking. Also on the left side of the steering wheel are the adjustments to get to the safety settings so you can turn on the lane departure warning on and off. For safety, this vehicle earns an 8. When you're looking at visibility and you look out the front, there is a very muscular hood in front of you, and the glass is long, but it is kind of limiting. This is a pretty bulky vehicle. When you're looking at the side sills, there's room to rest your arm, which you may laugh that that's a factor, but it is, because really it means the lower sill means people across the all 3 rows are able to look out. If the sill is up higher, it just limits your visibility. As you can see, there are 2 headrests in back. In case there's no one sitting back there, you go into the vehicle settings under control and watch this. The 3rd row folds down. Pretty smart. And when you put the vehicle in reverse, you have a really nice backup camera. It is not an around view camera, which would be nice, and therefore visibility earns an 8. When you're looking at seating, this is the most important part of this vehicle. Even though I love the power, it's sitting here. It has to be comfortable. These seats are comfortable, a little firm, but they have good side bolstering. Also note there is adjustable height seat belts. All the vehicles in this category have it, and it is required, and you want that so the seat belt doesn't cut your neck. The seat itself does have some limited adjustability. There is not massaging seats. There is 4-way lumbar on both sides, and of course there are power seats that have adjustments that bring the bottom cushion up and down at angles. You can adjust how you want. Pretty comfortable, heated and air cooled, and by the way, optional center console back here will show you. What's important to note about that is it takes away one of the seats. Let's take a look at the 2nd and 3rd rows and we'll give you a rating. Going into the 2nd row, there are nice, comfortable 2 bucket seats. So this seats 6 because there's only 2 in the back. There are some very cool features back here, and we'll do it in advance, even though I know this belongs in features. We'll show you as well. There are some Uconnect screens here. There's 1 for each person, and there's headsets. Your kids will love it. In addition, there is a remote control, which will keep the kids occupied. Tons of connectivity, heated seats, not air conditioned, and the connections for each of those modules are here on the side of the vehicle. One of the additional features in our test vehicle is a center console. It is an additional fee. There are 2 cup holders here, as well as some additional storage. Inside, 2 trays of storage and more charging ports. This is crazy. There's a USB-C, there's a 12-volt DC. Up above, you have lights that are adjustable and vents for each passenger. It is manual to move the seats down. Just so you know, there's no power seats. That is available in the competition, but the price is higher. Let's take a look at the 3rd row. Here in the 3rd row, obviously there's slightly less space. The floor rises up a bit because there is a spare tire underneath here. But something that's nice is cup holders are here. There are vents up above and another set of lights so that you can customize this however you'd like. It's pretty good. If you're tall, I'm 5'8", there's not that much headroom, although it does rise up here. So 2 people in the back seat. So there's no child safety seat attachments here, only right here. So there are 2 child safety seat attachments. In all 3 rows, there are red seat belts, which I love. That's part of the demonic color. It's very cool. Overall, when you're looking at this vehicle as far as seating, it's missing a few things. I'd like to see air-cooled seats in the 2nd row at this price point. And in addition, it'd be nice to have these seats being power so you can access the 3rd row. But overall, no massaging seats. That's not a deal breaker, but for seating, this vehicle earns an 8. When you're looking at the SRT for technology, now this is actually an upgrade. This is the Uconnect 5, is a much faster processor than the previous year. This 10.8 screen is perfect and it responds quite quickly. Now you're starting off with the TomTom navigation. You can see we're here at Lancaster Speedway. That is all part of the navigation. When you're looking at the navigation system compared to the Land Rover, the Audi, or the Mercedes, or the BMW, they really take the cake. It's hard to beat them, but they've done a great job considering the price point. Looking at the media, you have Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. You also have Alexa, which is standard if you're connected to Alexa systems. In addition, you've got the Sirius XM 360 package. I love this climate control system where they have helmets on everyone. Very cute, because that's part of that Hellcat package. But it allows you to make it pretty simple to control everything. Your phone can connect wirelessly. It's pretty easy to do. Now going over to that vehicle, that SRT pages here on this Uconnect screen. You have your performance pages, your drive modes, and your race options. We'll start off by looking at the performance pages. This allows you to talk about drag racing, and it lists a recording. The best eighth mile someone was able to accomplish was an 8.5, the best quarter mile 6.2. They are probably not pros, but it also shows your 60 foot, so it depends how good you cut a light. And that's all part of drag racing experience. If you're looking to learn more on drag racing, I have a book called Driving Ambitions. You can get it on my website. It's pretty reasonably priced, and it gives you all the basics. It's a 101 for all different kinds of racing. Next, you have the gauges, because the gauges aren't always needed, but when you're racing or you're doing something like towing, you do want that information. In addition to a graph, we have a really nice little gauge here. It shows torque, power, and boost pressure. Just revving it, you can see. This is fun. Good information to have, as well as G-forces. When you do this, it tells you your pitch, your roll, and what kind of G-forces you're putting on the vehicle. Vehicle dynamics, there is a lot. This shows that the wheel is where it is. I'm going to turn the wheel, you can see. It shows you the degree of steering angle, which is really good if you're off-roading. Going into your drive modes, we discussed this in performance. So we've got your automatic, and you can set up your transmission, your paddle shifts, your all-wheel drive, stability control, suspension. All-wheel drive is great for getting that power down to the ground. That's why when you're looking at these type of SUVs with big horsepower, like the BMW X5, the X6M, both of them are M's. Even if you're looking at an Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio, you are looking at something that needs all-wheel drive to get that 700 horsepower down to the ground. When you go into the snow mode, that's where all-wheel drive can be helpful in other ways. Tow mode, so it allows you to show you some of the changes. There is a custom mode, so you can make it the way you prefer. My favorite is a sport mode for daily driving. It gives you everything that you want, and you can adjust that however you'd like. And when you press the track mode, it gives you all of the goodies, all of the nannies shut off, and makes it a lot of fun. Now there's an additional couple buttons you should know about. When you're in the automatic mode, you can go into Eco, which gives you better fuel economy. You can go into the auto setup and adjust what you want for transmission and the paddles and so forth. Now in this case, it's in Eco mode. We're going to go to Sport mode, hit that Sport setup, and you can make all the adjustments that you want. Very nicely done. You also have your race options. This gives you the launch control and a shift light, which is really good if you're not experienced at doing this, but having active launch control is a very cool tech feature that you will not see in other vehicles. And we did the Range Rover Velar Dynamic Edition. There's a lot more nomenclature in there, but the fact is that vehicle was a blast to drive. I would say it's as much fun as this Hellcat, but the price is much higher. Going into the control mode, you get your rear view camera. Then also you have all your settings, which includes your safety and driver assistance safety features, voice, navigation, your trailer information if you typically use more than one trailer, mirrors, lights, locks. All your setup modes are right here. Very easy to use. Going over to the apps, again, very quick responding system. You've got all your vehicle audio apps, all your stored information, and you can star them and customize it any way you want to put whatever you want at the top and whatever you want at the bottom. There's your favorites if you want to choose that, your categories, and your all. When you're looking at technology for this vehicle, overall, this vehicle earns a 9. There are a lot of features in this vehicle that it's important to note. On the left side of the steering wheel, you've got the ability to adjust that screen in front of you. There's not a ton of information, but it's good, and you've got your voice control and the ability to turn on your phone. To the right side of the steering wheel, you've got your cruise control and all of your adjustments for the safety features. There is also a flat bottom steering wheel. It's not your traditional flat bottom steering wheel, it's sort of a semi-flat bottom steering wheel, but it's good for making it easier to get in and out of the vehicle. On the right side, you have your paddle shifter as well as your wipers, and your only control that is a stock that includes turn signals. In front of you, you have regular gauges. Now, even if you change the drive modes to a sport mode, it does not change what's in front of you other than that little green light. On the left side, you have some additional lighting controls and a vent. To the right of the steering wheel, you have this very cool red engine start-stop button because it is keyless entry and keyless start. Your vents, and then you have your home screen. We talked about that in technology. Moving your way down, below the main screen, you have your climate control, 2 more USB ports, a wireless charging port. I also wanted to show you this Hellcat key. It is red. That's pretty cool. Just to remind you, you're driving a Hellcat. On the other side, you have your normal controls. Your normal shifter, 2 cup holders, and a little additional storage. Inside your center console, you have the ability to put your DVD player for your Blu-ray system and another charging port in a minimal amount of storage. I do like the stitching of the SRT on all the seats, as well as the red demonic detail. The interior is nice. Carbon fiber is an option. We do not have it on our vehicle. Harman Kardon 19 speaker audio is also an additional cost, of which this vehicle has. There's a lot of very cool features in this car, although it is missing some compared to its competitors. Although they're in kind of a different category, this is more of a muscle car. That's kind of how it is. It's an SUV mixed with a muscle car. When you're looking at the features overall for this SRT Hellcat, it earns an 8. For the design of this vehicle, there are some changes, starting off with this SRT Hellcat logo saying, yeah, I bought the big motor. I didn't settle for the smaller engines. You'll also notice that this has the wide body look of the other SRTs, which are being made for 2021. Further down, you're going to see a matte black and this really nice chin spoiler. Did a nice job balancing this out, making this wide and broad, making it for a better stance for those bigger tires and wheels. You'll also notice this muscular hood. One thing you'll also note on the front of this vehicle is all of this ventilation is functional because there's a 92 millimeter throttle body and it needs that air to mix in with the gasoline to give it the power it needs. Plus, there's a supercharger and it needs air as well. Also note that there is LED headlights, and when I hit the unlock button, you can see that it shows you the LED headlights, also LED taillights. We'll show you that when we get around to the back. The SRT Hellcat rides on 20-inch wheels that are 10 inches wide, both front and back. These are alloys, and inside, 6-piston Brembo brakes because you need the whoa power to stop this go power. There's a Hellcat logo on the fender. I think this is appropriate, just letting everyone know and reminding them you've got the big motor with a lot of power, and if you want to take it to the drags, you want to take it off-road, this vehicle has it all. The side of the Durango looks like any other Durango, and it's got the privacy glass on the last 2 windows. Again, nice colors. There's a whole bunch of color selections that are exclusive to the Hellcat lineup. Heading around to the back, you have the new LED taillights, and one thing I wanted to note is that the wiper blade arm is down here. Many manufacturers are starting to tuck it up underneath this airfoil. This is exclusive to the Hellcat as well. There are some different physical features to the exterior of the vehicle. Further down, you have this awesome dual exhaust. It has an X-pipe that is the largest one that's available on the market, and when you drive this thing, you can tell the difference. It's very throaty and it has an amazing sound. Further down here, you'll see this matte black covering, and this covers the trailer towing. Again, top of the line in trailer towing. There's a little cover, so when you're not using it, it looks good, and if you never use it, it looks good as well. Overall, for design, this vehicle earns a 9. When you're looking at quality for this Durango, it is built really at the top. Top quality paint choices, good build, nice quality materials, high quality audio system and interior components, even hand-laid carbon fiber, which is optional and sadly not on our vehicle because that would make me want to put this in my garage. It's getting there, it's pretty close. The vehicle offers a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty with a 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty, and for quality, it earns a 9. Coming around to the back, we have 17 cubic feet of storage. Now, there's also additional storage underneath this little area here, which is nice to have to hide things for valuables. Put the second row down, and now you have 50 cubic feet of storage. Put the second row down, and now you're up to 85 cubic feet of storage, which is the biggest in the class. But remember, this is a much bigger vehicle than the BMW, the Mercedes, or even the Audi, and so this is something you need to keep in mind. It's kind of a different animal, but it is a direct competitor. To close the rear hatch, they've done a very smart thing. Typically, it's up top, and if you're shorter, it's difficult to close the hatch. Well, in this vehicle, it's right here. Just press the button, It's a little slow. Pretty simple. When you're looking at the value of this vehicle, prices start at $81,000. There are a lot of options on our vehicle. We've got the $2,400 tech package, the $2,000 rear DVD package, which may be perfect for your kids. Trailer towing is $1,200. You get the premium interior, which is $2,500. Second floor console is $600. The 19-speaker Harman Kardon amazing audio system is an additional $1,000, and the blind spot cross traffic alert is $500. Making our vehicle come in at $92,500. That's a lot of money for a 3-row SUV with this kind of power. However, when you're looking at the competition, that will be much more expensive and into that $100,000 range. And one thing to note, this is a 1-year only 2021 vehicle, which makes this a possible future collectible. When you're looking at the value of this vehicle, it earns a 7. When you're totaling up all 10 categories, there are some negatives to this vehicle. It's not great on fuel economy. It is kind of a bulky vehicle to drive every single day. And for this price point, that cross traffic alert and additional safety should be standard and not that extra $500 upcharge. I understand that you have to charge for these things, but when you have a vehicle this size, cross traffic alert is pretty critical. On the pro side, amazing power, best in class towing capability. This thing's a beast and a blast to drive, and I really love the new Uconnect 5 system. Faster processing and really easy to use, extremely intuitive. That's why it's won a bunch of awards. Now, taking all 10 categories and comparing it against essentially the Germans or the Trackhawk, which makes it kind of interesting. Is this a muscle car? Is it an SUV? It's the combination of both. Take it to the drags, drive it every day. You can take it camping, whatever you want to do. All 10 categories added up together earns this 2021 Dodge Durango Hellcat SRT all-wheel drive in 83. Now, I did not cover every single little detail, and I'm sure you have additional questions. Put that in the comments down below. I will answer them for you. If you got value from this video, please like it and share it with your favorite friends, because we want to make sure that people learn about this. And if you bought one, I'm jealous. Write it in the comments down below. Let's see why you bought it, and if you didn't buy it, why didn't you buy it if you bought a German vehicle instead? I really want to know what you bought. And if you're looking for additional reviews on this vehicle, you can check out our website, Car Coach Reports. It's in English and Spanish. We have other contributors. We're also putting out a lot of new information that might be of interest to you. You can follow us on all forms of social media at Lauren Fix. And if you like cars, you will love our podcast, Total Car Score. It's on all platforms. And we thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time.